What's up, guys? Edgy here bringing another video, and today, as you see by the thumbnail, as you see by the title, we are doing our NFL playoff predictions. So I recorded this once and I had second thoughts about my predictions. Some of them kind of switched up on me and I had a change of heart. So here we are. This is the second time recording it, and it is the last chance I have to record it. This is Friday night. There's wildcard games tomorrow and there's wildcard games on Sunday. So I'm going to get this video out. I'm going to upload this tomorrow morning, which is Saturday. I'm going to have it go up probably 8 or 9 o'clock just so, people wake up. They can watch it before the games actually start. Right off the bat, I'm just going to say the Titans have the Ravens number. Not that the Ravens aren't a good team. It's just the Ravens aren't a team built to play from behind. So unless they start off ahead of the Titans by a good amount, they're not going to win this game. The Titans get ahead by 2 scores, it's pretty much over. Because once Derrick Henry gets rolling, he's not going to stop. Browns and Steelers. The last time I did this prediction, I had the Steelers winning. A couple things have changed my mind about that, but the main thing is the fact that it seems like the Steelers players aren't taking the Browns seriously, and you cannot do that in a playoff game. So my original pick was the Steelers, but I changed it to the Browns. Obviously, the Browns got in over my Dolphins, which still hurts because they were playing the Steelers backups. But I think the Steelers are just taking them too lightly. I seen Juju was talking about them on Twitter. I think a couple other players were saying it's the Browns, but I just think that's going to light a fire under Cleveland, and they're going to get a playoff win. Colts and Bills. I think this has the potential to be the best playoff game of the wild card round. Colts, elite defense, very good running game, solid wide receivers. Phillip Rivers is playing pretty well. Buffalo Bills, obviously, probably the hottest team in football right now. They've been winning in blowout fashion for the most part. Josh Allen is playing really, really well. I've already said my piece about that. Bills fans are always coming at me. But before this year, I think everyone was in agreement, aside from Bills fans, that Josh Allen was not good before this year. So people bringing up old tweets. Before this year, he really wasn't good. He was awful. Okay, he obviously put in the work. Credit to him, credit to Sean McDermott, whoever worked with him in the offseason. He put in the time, he put in the effort, and you can see a difference. He's actually accurate throwing the football now, which is amazing. This game, honestly, I can see it going either way, but I'm going to go off of the fact that, one, Phillip Rivers, undefeated in the wildcard round. I believe he's 4-0 all-time in the wildcard round. And number two, Josh Allen, in his one playoff game last year, looked awful. Like, he had got on a little bit of a roll the end of the season last year, and he was playing some pretty good football. Obviously not as good as this year. He was the MVP candidate this year. But, he was hot rolling into the playoffs, and then the playoffs came around, and I do not know what that dude was doing. He looked like he should not be on the field. Obviously, I think he's a much improved quarterback, but I feel like nerves could still get to him. It's a big game, and I think the Colts are going to win by 3 points. I'm going to go ahead and do score predictions for these as well. I'm going to say the Titans win 27-17. Browns are going to win, we'll say 28-24. And the Colts are going to win 31-28. I think it's going to be a lot of close games aside from the Ravens and Titans. I think the Titans are going to get a little bit of a lead and kind of just run the ball down their throat. Buccaneers and the Washington football team, a 79 playoff team. But as Bruce Arians said, which is a very good point, they are a 4-1 football team with Alex Smith. Do I think they're going to win? No. But I do think that they're going to give Tom Brady some issues. But ultimately, I think the Buccaneers are just a much better team, so they're going to go ahead and win. But if Washington, adds a couple pieces in the offseason, that defense is looking good. They could very well, be a good playoff team next year, not a 7-9 playoff team. Rams and Seahawks. This one, I think, come playoff time, Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, they seem to get it together. The Seahawks are that team. They're kind of roller coasters throughout the season. They'll start off really, really hot, and Russell Wilson's looking like he's gonna win MVP, which I predicted before the season. And about 6-7 games in, I was looking like I was gonna be right, and then I don't know what happened. But middle of the season, they kind of hit a slump, and then end of the season, they kind of get their defense going, and they come together and they start playing really good football. And I just think playoff experience, is going to outdo the Rams. Plus, I mean, Jared Goff isn't that good, but their backup quarterback is starting. He did all right last week, but they weren't playing a good defense. I'm going to say the Seahawks win this one. Oh, I forgot to give a score prediction for the Buccaneers in Washington. I'm going to say the Buccaneers win. Let's go 24-14. Not really high scoring because, like I said, I think Washington's going to, get to Brady. I think Brady's going to throw a pick and probably get sacked, 3-4 times. Seahawks Rams. I think this is going to be a really lopsided game. I'm going to say Seahawks 31-14. Bears and Saints. I think this is going to be a better game than people think it's going to be. Bears, obviously, defense is legit, and Trubisky has been playing very well as of lately, which no one expected. He got benched from Nick Foles. Nick Foles had a couple decent games, and then I think he got hurt, and Trubisky came back in, and all of a sudden he's playing well. So I think the Bears can slow down the Saints a little bit, but Alvin Kamara already said he's playing, and I'm sorry, but that's not easy to stop. You got him and Breeze together. Kamara's going to get like 10 catches out of the backfield, plus probably at least 80 rushing yards. Saints are going to win this one. I'm going to say 31-24, but ultimately it'll be a good game. Next round of the playoffs, like I said, let me go ahead and get this out here. I forgot to say when I first started, if I don't pick your favorite team to win, don't get upset about it. It's just predictions. I'm not going to be 100% right. Obviously, a couple of these I am picking underdogs. Also, I might be slightly biased because there's 3 quarterbacks that I would love to see win a Super Bowl. Phillip Rivers, for one. I've always liked Phillip Rivers. He's been in the league a long time. He's got all the accolades except for the hardware. So I would love to see him win a ring. I would love to see Drew Brees go out on top, one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. And Ryan Tannehill. My Dolphins fans, some of you guys are with me, some of you guys are against me. I was always a Tannehill believer. I never thought that he was the problem, even though half our fan base did. I said give him a good coach, give him a line, and he'll be great. And sure enough, he has a good coach and a line, and now he's great. But that's beside the point. But yeah, so that might be a little bit of bias. That might be why I'm picking the Colts. But I think it's their defense more than anything. It's not Phillip Rivers. It's that defense. Top 3 defense in the NFL easily. Saints, I think they're just a better team than the Bears. And the Titans, same situation. I think they just have the Ravens number. So this would be the only one that I think might be slightly biased in my pick. But I think the Colts defense is so good that they're going to give Josh Allen issues. All right. Browns, Titans, Colts, Chiefs, Seahawks, Saints, Bucks, Packers. These are going to be some good games. I'm going to pick the Titans in this one. Not to say the Browns can't win, because the Browns, when they do click on all cylinders and that offense is going, they are one of the best offenses in the NFL. But at the same time, I feel like this is going to be one of those games the Titans are just going to, grind that clock. They're going to give Derrick Henry the ball 30 times. Tannehill's going to take a couple play action shots, probably throw like 25 passes, and they're going to win. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to say 21-17. Colts and Chiefs. Personally, I think out of the AFC, the Colts are the team best built to have a chance against the Chiefs, just because, like I said, their defense is so good. Now, I would say their strength is their front 7, not necessarily their secondary. But I think anyone who plays the Chiefs in the playoffs, they're going to take film from 2 games. They're going to take film, maybe 3 games. The Falcons against the Chiefs, the Dolphins against the Chiefs, and the Raiders against the Chiefs. The key to beating the Chiefs, obviously, because you're not going to outscore them. That is very, very rare unless your offense is just on one. That's how the Raiders beat them. They were just on one that game. Derek Carr had probably his best game of the year. And you have to get Mahomes to turn the ball over. It's not an easy thing to do. Obviously, the Dolphins still ended up losing when he threw 3 picks. But that was, because of special teams touchdown, and then our safety got hurt, and then our backup safety came in for 1 play and got beat over the top by Tyreek Hill. So, not everything can go your way. But the Colts, their front 7 is so good. I think they're going to get to Mahomes often. If they can get him to, make one bad throw, get a pick, get some momentum, they could win this game. But ultimately, it's Patrick Mahomes. We're talking about the best quarterback in football. Andy Reid, one of the best coaches in football. Their defense is better than it was last year. They have a good running game when their running backs are healthy. Even if you manage to stop Travis Kelce, you got to worry about Tyreek, Sammy Watkins, Demarcus Robinson, McCole Hardman. Like, there's just so many things they can do offensively, and their defense is better than it was last year. I got the Chiefs winning this game. Colts and Chiefs. Actually, one of the best playoff games I ever watched was Colts and Chiefs back when Andrew Luck was playing. I don't know if you guys remember, but they fumbled on the goal line, and he recovered it and like Superman dove over into the end zone. That was incredible. But I think the Chiefs are going to win this one 31-27. It's going to be a good game, but ultimately the Chiefs are going to win. Seahawks Saints. This game, I think the Saints are the best team in the NFC. The Packers are right up there with them. Seahawks, obviously, they look good the last couple weeks, but I think the Saints offense is going to be too much for the Seahawks defense. And I think the Saints defense is good enough to where they can slow Russell Wilson down a little bit. And I think the Saints ultimately are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring than you would expect. I'm going to say it's going to be like 24-20. Buccaneers, Packers. Obviously, these teams played earlier in the season. The Buccaneers demolished the Packers. But I don't think it's going to go that way this time. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come out. Even without David Bakhtiari, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come out and he's going to make stuff happen. You can't really cover Devontae Adams. You can try, but ultimately you double him, he's still getting open. So your only option really is to try to triple team him, and then you're guaranteed to leave somebody else open. So I think the Packers are going to get a vengeance game. They're going to bounce back. They're going to beat the Buccaneers. And I think it's going to be a pretty lopsided victory. I'm going to say 31-21 with that, Buccaneers scoring a touchdown in the fourth quarter to make it closer than it actually is. Getting on to the AFC and the NFC Championship. So AFC, we got a rematch of last year. NFC, we got Saints and Packers. AFC, I think it's going to be very similar to last year. Obviously, the Titans' defense was much better last year. This year, their defense is very turnover reliant, meaning they're going to give up a ton of yards, and they will give up a ton of points if they don't force turnovers. I believe they're top 5 in turnovers, but everything else they were like 25th or worse. And I don't see them winning in a shootout with the Chiefs. Obviously, they got to get Derrick Henry going, and if they're behind, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to throw the football. So I'm going to say the Chiefs are going to win this one. I think it'll be a good game, but I'm going to say it's going to be 34-24 Chiefs. I think they'll score a touchdown in the fourth to kind of seal the game, but I think it'll be a good game for at least, 3 quarters. Saints and Packers, I think this is going to be better than this game. I think Rodgers and Breeze are going to have a shootout. I think Breeze is going to go out, slinging it. I think all this talk about him, not wanting to throw the ball deep, I think the playoffs, I think he's going to let it rip. I hope he does. I mean, I want to believe he still has, some juice left in that arm. I think this game is going to be a shootout, maybe even an overtime game. I'm going to say final score 34-31. Saints on top. Getting on to the Super Bowl. We got the 1 seed versus the 2 seed. We got the Chiefs. We got the Saints. These teams played recently. It was a very, very good game. I think Sean Payton, Drew Brees versus Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, it can go either way, okay? We all know how good the Chiefs are. We all know how good the Saints are. They're going to have Michael Thomas back healthy for the playoffs as well, which is huge. I got the Saints with the upset. Like I said, I think Drew Brees is going to go out on top. I feel like he's going to get hot in the playoffs. He's going to sling it, for a couple more games. He's going to actually let it rip. And I think the Saints are going to pull off the upset. And I think it's going to be high scoring. I'm going to say the Saints win 38-35. I think the edge is the Saints have a really good defense to go with a really good offense. The Chiefs have, obviously, top 3 offense. Probably the best offense in the NFL. We're being realistic as Patrick Mahomes. But the Saints, easily top 10 offense. You can say top 5. And they have a top 5 defense. I think ultimately they're gonna they're gonna force a turnover, or they're gonna force them to settle for 3 at one point or something along those lines, and it's gonna be the difference. But I think it's gonna be a classic, one of the best Super Bowls we've seen in a long time. And like I said, Saints 38-35. Those are my predictions, guys. Like I said, if I didn't pick your favorite team to win, you don't got to get upset about it. I'm not going to be 100% right. Some of these games are going to go the other way. Anything can happen in the playoffs. Any team can win any given Sunday in the NFL, especially in the playoffs. For all we know, Washington can go out and upset the Buccaneers. You never know. Like I said, these are just predictions. I'm not an expert. I'm not going to be 100% right. So there's no need to, go off on me in the comments. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to smack that like button. Hit that sub button if you're new. Turn notifications on. As always, everyone have a great day. I'm out.